All right, what's up, guys? Fresh Tracks Weekly, episode 61. You got Mike P today. Randy and Marcus are out of the office, and you guys have me. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's get a fishing corner. Last weekend, I was able to get out with some buddies and make some new friends as well. We did some winter Trouts Bay stuff on a really sweet river we have here in Montana. It was a successful trip. We caught quite a few fish, and I was able to go out with a buddy Paul of mine, Lael, and Tyler. And Lael and Tyler both had a film in the Fly Fishing Film Tour this year. It's one of the longer form story films. It was really cool to go out and fish with those guys before their premiere of this amazing film on Lael and his journey becoming a guide, a steelhead guide in Washington. Tyler did an amazing job filming it, and it was cool to go out with those guys and hear their stories and learn from Lael and hang out with a good friend of mine and Paul. So that was a good time. On Sunday, got to do my second ice fishing session of the year. I got to go out with my buddy Casey. It was kind of lackluster, but it was a really good time to get out on the ice. 40 degrees in Montana in January, you can't complain. So we iced one tiny little trout, and he caught one of the smallest walleyes I've ever seen. But it was really fun to get out. Like I said, this weekend is my birthday weekend. I'm turning 31, and we have big plans of going and doing some more fishing. So I'll report to you guys back next week on next week's Fishing Corner. So Marcus is out in the field with Jace this week. There's some good news from his elk hunt. They're in a really cool area hunting some winter range elk. I'll let him talk a little bit more about it next week, but looks to be really good. So last week, Randy was at Sheep Show. For those of you who don't know, Sheep Show is a show that's dedicated to all things mountain hunting, wild sheep conservation. It's just an all-around good time. We've gone in the past, and it's been a blast. And it's always fun to see how much money is raised at these things that goes back to conservation. So I'm just going to kind of rattle through some of these sheep hunts that were auctioned off this year. The Washington Desert Bighorn sheep tag was auctioned off for $270,000. Alaska's Chugach Doll sheep tag, $235,000. Idaho's Bighorn sheep tag, $230,000. Montana's Bighorn sheep tag, $380,000. Arizona's Desert Bighorn sheep tag was auctioned off for $430,000, and here are the big ones. Colorado's Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep was auctioned off for $600,000, and New Mexico's Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep was auctioned off for $600,000. So the last one I'm just going to throw in there because I know this is one of Randy's dream hunts. He always talks about how he's going to be the one who bids and gets this tag. The Arizona Commissioner's Pronghorn tag went for $90,000 this year for a pronghorn tag. So pretty impressive. You may ask, like, Michael, why are you telling me about these auction tags? I don't really care about a bunch of rich people spending boatloads of money on sheep tags. But I just wanted to mention it because the overwhelming majority of the $2,835,000 I just talked about, it goes back to conservation efforts to put wild sheep back on the mountain. And so I didn't even mention like 5, 6, 7, 10 of the other sheep tags that were auctioned off for well over $100,000. So pretty cool. That's what Randy was up to last week. And now we got some news for you guys. So the state of Washington held a legislation hearing the other day on holding a public vote to amend the state's constitution to ensure the right to hunt and fish and trap in the state of Washington. So of the 18 people who spoke at the hearing, half said they supported the bill and half said that they were against it, while 1,819 people signed in favor and 1,424 were against it. So basically, sportsmen, anglers, people in Washington want to make it a right to hunt and fish and trap, while there are people on the opposition saying that it's not necessary for that to happen. Kind of an interesting thing going on in Washington. I'll leave some links in the description down below for you to read up more on it. But yeah, so this one's pretty cool. There was a hole blown into Copco #1 on Tuesday, and that is the final dam that will be removed on the Klamath River. For over 100 years, the dams on the Klamath River have blocked salmon and steelhead from reaching more than 400 miles of pristine habitat. So this is one of the biggest dam removals in the history of the world. And I'm hopeful that the habitat that is being erected from this will bring back some salmon and steelhead numbers that have been pretty dismal in the past couple of years. So that's a pretty cool project that's going on down, or I should say up in Oregon and California. And my last story I got for you guys is bighorn sheep in the National Elk Refuge in Wyoming are showing visual signs of ORF virus. I'm not so sure if I'm saying that correctly, but basically the sheep have scabby sores around their lips, on their muzzle, and in their mouth. While healthy sheep are expected to rebound from this and recover, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service warns that infected sheep can become more vulnerable to secondary dangerous infections. Also, an interesting fact about this one is that humans can become infected by the virus if they come in contact with an infected animal or contaminated equipment. So, for example, if you're in the elk refuge and you're out doing some sightseeing and you see a bighorn sheep like licking the side of your car because there's salt on it, they say don't touch it because you can become infected. I know it sounds weird, but it sounds like these sheep are they're around humans, and it's something to keep in mind. So with all that being said, hey, we don't have a lot going on this week. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to come back next week. We got a ton of videos coming out about how to get tags this year. Some hunting videos from season 10 of Fresh Tracks. We appreciate you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next one.